If you want to grow on YouTube, you have to stop watching videos as a fan and start watching them as a scientist. These videos didn't go viral and market products effectively by accident. It's a series of engagement hacks, storytelling structures, and psychological tricks hidden in plain sight. And by the end of this video, you'll see how every cut, every hook, and every sales tactic they use helps them create engaging content, and many times sell a product as well. You probably won't see a YouTube video the same after this. We're Creator Control Group, and this is Strategy Audit. All right, so the video that we're auditing today is from a creator called Austin Sharrock. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. He has about 60,000 subscribers and 205 videos. And the video that we are going to be focusing on today is this one. This pocket notebook is slowly replacing my phone. It has 4.3 million views and was made 3 years ago. This is of course the best performing video on his channel. And this by all accounts is a rather small channel. 60,000 subscribers is not that big in the grand scheme of YouTubers. And if you look at this video, it's quite the big difference when it comes to a lot of his other videos. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into the video. Okay, few things right off the bat. First thing, I don't know if you noticed, but on the very first frame, it starts with 4 months ago. Now that is already a subconscious psychological hack in our mind. We know that time has passed. We know that something has happened. We don't know what, and we want to find out what happened over the past 4 months. And that's what this video is going to show us. And it goes right from the psychological hack right into a very fast-paced and engaging intro that just pays off the thumbnail immediately. We see him going into a store and picking out a notebook. That's what we came for. So we're gonna keep watching.
This is my notepad. It's been, sat on a few thousand times, used as a wedge so my chair wouldn't teeter, and hopelessly abused in many other ways. So, why do I carry this thing everywhere with me? In short, it provides me with something incredibly valuable that, at least to my knowledge, I haven't been able to find anywhere else.
All right, we have our first verbal curiosity loop that he's opened up, and he answers it, but he answers it in a way that he kind of opens up another curiosity loop. So he says, well, I found a ton of value from it, and I haven't been able to find this value anywhere else. So he's already opened a second curiosity loop, and we're not even 30 seconds into the video. That's a great sign.
This all started from a very well-meaning Nathaniel Drew, who is kind of a notebook expert, if those even exist.
It is amazing to me how few people actually do this.
I was intrigued, but very skeptical, as one should be, because not everything you see on the internet is true.
Now, in the first 30 seconds, he's referencing another authority figure. He's calling out Nathaniel Drew, who's another YouTuber that has quite a substantial following, and he's also referencing him as an expert. He's like, oh, a notebook authority, if that exists. Quite clever. That can be a powerful anchoring tool when you're making a video and you're a smaller creator, is to anchor it to another authority figure. Now, if we were to look over really quickly on this video that he's referencing, we can see that this video also is quite a popular video. It has 1.8 million views from 4 years ago. And we can see that this video has grown substantially over that time. If we look at around the time that this other one was published, which is around November of 2022, we can see that this video is still getting 50 to 100,000 views a month, which is quite substantial. So he's actually tying his video to another video that's still performing quite well in the algorithm. And that's also another great hack to use, is you're anchoring your content to someone else's content as well. And actually, if we do a little more research and we just look up notebook, we can see that notebook actually is content that's very popular and actually has quite a high volume of people that are looking for it. This is a vidIQ plugin that I use. The volume is 75, which is quite high. Now, it says there is medium competition for that, so that's fine, but you can see that of the videos that have this keyword in it, there's quite a few that have very high views. So if you just search notebook, you'll see, other than the notebook, the movie, you'll see quite a few different ones that are talking about notebooks and other stuff that have happened more recently. It's a very popular topic, and a lot of these videos, if you even scroll down, you'll see, if we go to just the notebook ones, many of the notebook ones are outliers for a lot of these channels. And that's a really good sign if you're researching the topic and that you want to make a video on. If you see that there's quite a few other videos that are getting outlier results for channels of varying sizes, that's a really good sign that that video could perform also for your channel, because it just means that this topic is so popular that there's enough volume of people searching for it that even smaller channels or people that have regular viewing, they get an outsized amount of views for these different videos. Now, if we filter this also by view count and then we go down, one of the top performing long form videos about this kind of topic is almost at 5 million views. That was a year ago. And the very next highest performing video is actually Austin's video. And it seems like about 3 years ago when this was published during the whole COVID thing, that there was actually quite an uptick in people turning to journaling and other stuff. So there's actually quite a big trend that was also happening at the same time. So another reason for the success of this video could also just be that the timing was also right for the interest of this. And he was the first one to really capitalize on this specific time that really catapulted his video into the stratosphere.
And I kept bumping into this with other YouTubers where they would experiment with taking notes, with a pen and paper, or writing video scripts with pen and paper, or scheduling or journaling and things like that. So I played around with it a little bit. I even bought some like super bad to the bone tactical notepads that are like waterproof and practically indestructible. But for some reason, I just couldn't quite get into it. Like I kept like starting and stopping, like start, stop, back and forth until eventually I got tired of it and just quit. So I decided that it must be for a very select few group of people, and I was not in that select few. But then I started hearing things that I just couldn't quite ignore.
Okay, another big thing here. He's just opened another big curiosity loop, saying that he's hearing these great things that he can't ignore. So what's happening with that is he's basically saying to us where it's like, oh, he's insinuating that there's these really big beneficial things that he's hearing about it, that we also now want to know what are the beneficial things that he's hearing. It has more basis behind the story that he's showing, where it's like, oh, there's more on the line here for us wanting to figure out why a notebook is such a powerful thing. You might have also heard it too, but there's been a kind of a tonal shift. It went kind of from more of an upbeat music to more of the curious introspective. So the soundtracks that he's using is definitely adding a lot to this video as well.
For example, I found a best-selling author who wrote like every single memory he had as a child in a notebook. As an adult, he would go back and remember and write them, and he literally has like shelves of notebooks. It's like, whoa. Or an incredibly prolific author now who writes his books with a pen and paper and then has someone like convert them. Even back in history, I found people like C.S. Lewis who would intentionally use ink that took longer to dry because it forced him to stop after every phrase and wait and think before he wrote the next thing. Like, what is going on here?
Interesting. He's now anchored us to even more authority figures on this by referencing a bunch of authors, best-selling authors, world-renowned authors, authors from the past that are really big names. He's kind of using this also as like, hey, all these other people that do really big, important work also use a pen and paper. There's got to be something to this. So A+ when it comes to how he's building this story up and really opening up our curiosity and making us want to continue watching this video.
And now in our fast-paced media-consuming era, there are a select few that seem to be moving back to that, or at least trying it out. And despite all the fancy new apps and softwares coming out, there's just this nagging thought that perhaps we are leaving something behind that we shouldn't.
Again, he's kind of adding to that curiosity and also kind of building up the audience a little bit. He's like, oh, well, there's a select few that are turning to this. Kind of like it's a minority. It's like a special select club that's doing this. And so it's kind of also adding to the prestige of it a little bit as well. But as well as adding a common feeling of where it's like, hey, in our fast-paced culture, that's something that a lot of people can relate to as well. So he's just doing a really good job of layering all these different things back to back.
And I really, really wanted this to be me. Like, I just loved the idea of the tactile experience and expressing my thoughts on paper and like the permanence of it and the feel and the sound. It just, oh.
I know I'm such a weirdo about this, but it's the sounds, it's the feeling.
It just sounded so like cool, but I just couldn't. And that's when life circumstances, AKA mechanical problems, led me here to this moment.
Okay, that was actually a really smooth editing thing they did there. We see the video of Nathaniel Drew come up first. We hear his voice, and then we start to hear the audio from Nathaniel Drew doing the same thing, talking about the noise you hear when you're actually doing the tactile notebook. And then it goes right into his voice. That was actually quite a smooth editing cut that just seemed really natural and good there. And I don't know if you've noticed also at this point, but we've changed music. This is going to be this next section that we're going to. That's going to be the 5th time that he's changed tracks, and we're not even 3 minutes into this whole video. So he is actually really hitting down these different emotions with different tracks, because it's kind of taking us on quite the journey, right? It's not just one track that we're just hearing again and again and again. He's actually taken us through quite a few different tracks so far already, which music is such a powerful underlying part of any storytelling. So to have all those different tracks for all the different emotions that we felt at all these different points and only 3 minutes in is really helping us to just stay engaged and to really connect with these different segments of the video that he's done so far.
To where a completely absurd idea was born. what if I bought a little notepad and a pen and treated it like a phone, taking it literally everywhere with me? The rational part of my brain was like, dude, it's the 21st century, like, come on. But the emotional part of my brain was like, ooh, who knows? I mean, what if something amazing were to happen? You can guess what I decided.
Actually, that was a really great setup, and there's a few different reasons for why. So first, he's kind of setting up the experiment, what he's going to do. He's expressing doubt. He's kind of like expressing these concerns that maybe people would think. It's like, hey, it's the 21st century. But then he's saying, oh, but maybe something amazing will happen. That's actually opening another subconscious curiosity loop, which is one of the most important things for any kind of storytelling, is just to continue opening these loops that the audience needs to have answered. There's a deep psychological need in us to just want to close all the loops that we hear. And so if there's another one that's opened, it kind of encourages us to stay even longer. And so he's saying, what if something amazing happens? He's adding more stakes to it. He's saying, well, this could be an amazing transformation of your life. So we're kind of bought in again to just see a little bit farther where this thing is going.
I instantly fell in love with it. We went everywhere together and I never left the house without it. I even took it a few places that I didn't take my phone. My phone was very offended. Unlike my phone, my notepad never goes dead, never distracts me, and above all, it has absolutely no agenda. If I ignore it, it doesn't even try to get my attention. Okay, this all sounds a little facetious, right? But
all right, another very interesting thing that he did there is he kind of opens up that section with this different, like almost kind of cheesy, a little bit emotional thing. He's got some good B-roll clips talking about how he's already seeing some good results from it, some good things that he's seen. And then he just throws us into a pattern interrupt where he basically pauses it, jumps back where he's like, oh, he kind of calls out the elephant in the room, says, hey, this is a little cheesy. But what that does is it kind of resets us a little bit, like where we could, if he had just kind of gone into that and just kept that tone for the rest of it, we might have just maybe been tempted to click off or go somewhere else. What he does is he kind of stops us and interrupts that little segment that he had right there and then takes us down another road. So that was actually quite a clever thing to do. He doesn't quite give us that time. He kind of throws in these different changes in pace and pattern quite frequently through this video, which we're seeing. It's, with how many times he's changed audio even so far in the music tracks, we've already seen that quite a bit in just the first part of this video.
I'm actually like dead serious, and here's why. Attention. Attention is one of the rarest and most valued commodities in our world today. If you can learn how to capture someone's attention and hold it, you instantly have opportunity that no one else has. And from all around us, there are hundreds of intruders that are constantly competing for just a tiny little slice of our attention so that they could fill it with their message or their product or their ideas. And what's interesting is often the best and most useful technological tools that we have are oftentimes the best at capturing our attention. So you're probably wondering like, are you like anti-media or something here, Austin? No, I mean, I'm kind of a YouTuber, so would kind of defeat the purpose. But
okay, just a small editing thing. I think he kind of missed a little bit on that last little part. I would have actually cut the music out right when he said no. That's kind of like the natural place to cut it. That would have felt a little more natural, kind of jarred me a little bit. But really what he also did, if you'll notice, is he just took us from that sentimental place from this one to a very much different emotional tone. He's talking about attention. He's talking about the stakes here. He's talking about how if you harness someone's attention, it's one of the most powerful things. He's kind of upping the stakes of this video again in this section. And he really did a really smooth transition from one to the next. We don't really feel jarred as we're being drawn along the story. It's not like, oh, we were just talking about this and now we're here. He's really doing a great job of leading us through this story. So honestly, so far, 10 out of 10. That was just a really small thing that I noticed there.
I do trust and acknowledge that businesses that spend, millions of dollars learning how to best capture my attention are probably really, really good at it. Like that is their business. I'll give you an example and tell me if you can relate to this or not. But have you ever picked up your phone to do something specific, like send a message or make a note or look something up, and within like 3 seconds you had no idea, like you had completely forgotten why you picked up your phone in the first place? And if that's ever happened to you, then that's a prime example of you stepping in to use a tool to further your own agenda, but instead you got hijacked by something that looked a little bit more enticing in the moment, and it completely derailed what you were originally trying to do, at least for the moment. But if you're, trying to avoid a problem or not face something that you should be facing and you just wanted a quick distraction, it's great for that. But what it's not great for is organic thinking. And here we come to the most important thing that this little notepad offers me that I haven't been able to find anywhere else.
All right, so what he did there was he told a personal story. He said, hey, have you ever felt this? That's actually a great way to inject into your storytelling, is to either say, hey, there was this time where I did this, basically relate a personal story that you experienced, or to say, hey, can you relate to this feeling? And a lot of times when you tell a story like that and people are like, oh yeah, I can totally relate to that, then that's actually drawing them in more. It's kind of making them more invested because they feel more connected with what's happening. Like, yeah, that totally happens to me too. And that's another big, powerful thing that he's doing there. And then what he just did is he just opened us now into what would be the third act of what he's saying is, but the most valuable thing I got from this, so he's kind of like bringing it around and he's saying, hey, all the stuff I've talked about so far is great, but this next part that I'm talking about, this was the thing that I got the most out of it. So now we're really hooked again. We're like, okay, well, what is the thing you got the most out of it? And so we're ready to go into the next section of this video.
One of the first things I noticed when I started carrying this thing around with me is it provided me with a place to just spill organic thoughts with zero, like get that, zero potential to ever be distracted or for outside ideas to mingle with my own. And by organic thinking, I'm specifically defining that as like something that only pertains to you, that you don't want any other ideas to be mixed with. And speaking from past experiences, this could be anything from, making a grocery list that I'm sure my friend Zach remembers, to, trying to process emotions and figure out why I'm angry at a friend. Or another aspect of this is putting down creative ideas, because a creative idea can come very quick and it can just pop into your head. And if there's any kind of distraction, you can lose that, at least I can. And I can't count how many times I've picked up my phone to write down a creative idea that I've had and just completely lost it because something caught my attention or something distracted me before I could get it all out. And that is really, really frustrating, honestly. And there's one more aspect of this that I think is really, really important and that's worth mentioning.
I think if you're still watching at this point, you're pretty invested. This is a much higher likelihood that you're gonna stay and you don't need as much quick change of pace and that kind of stuff. You can kind of start to drag out the times that you're talking about things a little bit longer. And then of course what he does again is, even though he said the most important thing, he says, oh, now there's one more thing that's also really important. So he's kind of adding on to opening that next curiosity loop to kind of pull us into the next section of the video. He just opens so many of those and brings them along so well in this video that is really, I think, what helped this video do so well. I think it just pulled people in and it didn't release their attention until they were already too invested in the video. And also, honestly, it's a good video. I'm quite enjoying it.
It's like, have you ever forgot to take your phone somewhere with you? Like for a couple of hours. Not that you had it with you but on silent, but you literally didn't even have it with you. If you're anything like me, there's something different about physically being removed from something that can distract you, like your phone, versus just having it like with you but on silent. It's like suddenly your brain like realizes, oh, there's like literally no possible way for me to be distracted or pulled in that direction. And it seems like it redirects your focus onto other things, like your surroundings. Another way of thinking about it is like, at least for me, it keeps me from sleeping with one eye open, as it were. Like where that analogy of like sleeping and you're always just like, you're always aware, like just in case something pops up that you need to be alert for. That's kind of what it feels like sometimes. And so when you remove that completely, it's literally gone. Then suddenly energy refocuses. And that's something that, again, using this really does very well.
All right, so again, it's kind of definitely a little more drawn out in this part, but like I said, that's okay. We're more invested at this point in the video. And he's sharing more personal stories. That's a great way to keep the viewer there. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I think this is music change number 9. We're at 8 minutes and he's changed the music 9 different times so far. That's quite a lot. And I think really also helps with just keeping this video more interesting. We never get lulled into just hearing the same background music for the whole video. He's actually jumping between different tracks that are kind of highlighting those moments, like I said before. So that's a really important thing to note. 9 changes already. It's crazy.
It removes any of those distractions and it actually allows your brain to refocus that energy. And this is huge because this can literally make the difference of solving or jeopardizing a solution or creative idea. Okay, so I've been wandering around with this notepad and pen in my pocket for several months now. Sometimes I go a week without even using it.
Okay, now he's transitioned us to the final part. We're literally at the apex, the end of the video, and he's gonna give us what we came for. We wanted to know how this transformed his life, and that's what he's now going to explain to us.
It doesn't care. Sometimes a table is out of balance at a restaurant, so I stick it underneath the leg to keep it from wobbling. Seriously, it couldn't care less. Now, I don't use this for everything, obviously. There are some stuff that is wildly impractical for me to use a notepad for, and that my phone or my laptop just does way better at. And so it's not even a question in that regard.
Share some realism.
But when something pops up that makes me stop and go, ooh, that's important. 9 times out of 10, I will, at least during the discovery phase of an idea, I will often choose a medium where it is literally impossible for any other agenda other than my own to be present, where nothing will mix with my idea. This will cost you $1, so feel free to try it out for a few weeks and just see if it works for you. What I love to do is whenever I'm in a group and it's like everybody's on their phones and it's all bored and stuff, instead of pulling out my phone, I'll pull out my notepad and just start writing. It's amazing, like literally no one sees it coming.
We got to the end of the video, I didn't even realize it was gonna happen. It happened so fast. And that's another important thing that I wanna notice here is he kind of hit the main points. He talked about, again, how cheap it was, how simple it was, and then all of a sudden we're out. I didn't even know that the video was ending that quickly. And that's kind of what you want. If you have a video that ends before the viewer really even knows that it's ending, then that's how you're gonna also maximize your retention for that. So honestly, start to finish, this guy did a fantastic job with that.